Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And I hope that everyone is staying safe and sound in this pandemic, and I hope that everyone is ready to learn today. I know there's a lot going on with the election and all that stuff, but I just hope that you can take some time to learn something here. Okay. Before we continue, if you like what you see, give me a big thumbs up, hit that bell notification, and subscribe. You know, the subscribing is a way for me to know that what I'm doing is helping people out. That's what I want to do. You know, I want to help people out in this pandemic situation. I know it's kind of hard to study, and this is my way of giving back to the community. So, you know, please help me out by subscribing. Okay, so yesterday I did a special election day video. Okay, today we're going to be doing, this is a basic video, we're going to be talking about adverbs. Now, one of my teachers used to call adverbs madverbs. M-A-D-V-E-R-B-S. And the reason why is because adverbs make you mad. Because adverbs don't follow the same rules as other words do. Adverbs can actually, in English, they can move. They can move to a variety of spots. So you need to be careful. You need to know which words are adverbs. And stay tuned for the end of the video where I will give you a tip to know whether a word is an adverb or not. Okay, so let's get into it. An adverb is a word that describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Now, generally, we can use up to 4 adverbs. Remember, on Monday, I spoke about adjectives. We can use 4. Adverbs, we can use up to 4. Not the same ones, but there's different types. So, for example, adverbs can tell how. The mouse scampered quickly into the hole. Where? A pine tree is growing there in the garden. When? The baby is smiling happily now. Okay? And what extent? That cocoa is very hot. So, let's say that I said the mouse very quickly, scampered very quickly there now. I could do that. I can use all 4 in the sentence. Okay, but generally, just like adjectives, that there's an order. Same thing with adverbs. Generally, to what extent is always used first. So it's after the verb. But the other ones can come later on. They can be moving around. But generally, to what extent usually comes first. Okay. Okay, so here are some examples of, I'm sorry you might not be able to see this, but the first one says how. Quickly, honestly, suddenly, and happily. Okay. The second column says where. There, here, everywhere, and away. The third column says when. Okay. Now, never, soon, yesterday. And to what extent says very, quite, to, and extremely. Notice that anytime we have how, it will always end with ly. So, I have a student, his last name is Lee, so I'd always tell him that you're an adverb. And he said, why? Because the end of your name is Lee. Ly. It's a joke. Anyway, but that's the case. How is always ending with L-Y. So Peter Lee is an adverb. Okay. Where, the place, when, time, and to what extent. So what do you notice about these? How, where, when, and what. Those words are always adverbs. Just so you know, those words are adverbs. So anytime you see how, where, when, what, why, those are adverbs. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. And let me just make this a little bigger for you so you can see it. Should be big enough. I cannot tell from here. Yeah, it's good. Okay. So, if you look at these sentences, pay attention to the underlined word. The underlined word is always a verb. Pay attention to where the adverb is situated. Very important to pay attention. So in other words, Annie sang quietly to her little sister. So how did she sing? Quietly. Okay. So we know that quietly is the adverb, which tells how. Carlos played over there. Where? Over there. So we know there tells you where. Please ride carefully. How should you ride? Carefully. So we know that carefully tells you how, and that's the adverb. Okay. Cereal flew everywhere when I dropped the box. So where did it fly? Everywhere. That's that shows you where. Okay. The doctor waited patiently for the test results. So how did he wait? Patiently. Okay. His dog wiggled nervously at bath time. How did he wiggle? Nervously. So notice that in these sentences, as in most sentences, the adverb will come after the verb. Now, you will not find the verb after the subject and the adverb after the subject and before the verb. You will not say Carlos over there played. That you cannot do that. We cannot put the adverb in between the subject and the verb. We cannot separate those two. You can put the adverb before the subject. You can put the adject after the verb, or you can put the object at the end. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, Annie sang quietly to her little sister. Now, we could say, quietly, Annie sang to her little sister. Or we could say, Annie sang to her little sister quietly. So we can move it. Okay. Okay. Carlos played over there. Over there, Carlos played. See? Please ride carefully. Please ride. Okay. Cereal flew everywhere when I dropped the box. When I dropped the box, cereal flew everywhere. Okay. The doctor waited patiently for the test results. Okay, patiently the doctor waited for the test results. I'm just giving you examples of how we can move it. His dog wiggled nervously at bath time. Nervously, his dog wiggled at bath time. Now, if you want to know if a word, I told you I'm going to give you a tip, is an adverb, the first thing you have to do is the move test. And the move test means move it from one place to another. Okay, that's the first step. So, like I said, Annie sang quietly. If I said quietly Annie sang, that shows you that quietly is an adverb. Now, can I just say Annie sang quietly? Yes. I don't have to use the rest of it. That's another way of knowing. Remember, we have subject, verb, object. In the object part of the sentence, we can have an adverb. Okay? So that's another clue that tells you that that's an adverb. If it was a verb, we could not use it. Okay? Again, cereal flew everywhere. I don't have to say when I dropped the box. I could just say flew everywhere. Or I could put when I dropped the box, cereal flew everywhere. I can move it around. But we know that everywhere can be moved. Everywhere, cereal flew when I dropped the box. So there's two choices. You can either remove the word, everything after it, which will tell you that it's probably an adverb. I mean, it could be an adjective, but it's probably an adverb. Or you can move it, and you'll know if it's an adverb. Same thing with patiently. I can stop the sentence after patiently, or I can move patiently in the front. Okay. And nervously, I can move it, or I could just end with nervously. I don't need at bath time. So I don't need to use that. So that's how we use adverbs. Now, some of them can go in the beginning and at the end. Some of them can go at the beginning, the middle, and the end. Okay. Generally, words like sometimes, they can go the beginning, the middle, and the end. Okay. Generally, words like yesterday or today usually go in the beginning or the end. So sometimes they can go beginning, middle, and end. Sometimes they can go only beginning and end. But all adverbs can go in the beginning and at the end. If they cannot, then it's not an adverb. Just so you know. And even though the sentence says, let's say the doctor waited patiently, and we change it to patiently the doctor waited, that becomes object, subject, verb. We can do that. We can move the object only, and I mean only if it's an adverb. If it's not an adverb, we cannot do that. So that's the only case that we can move it and change the sentence structure. This is why when we use who, what, where, when, and why, we can put them in the front because those are adverbs. Okay. I hope this doesn't confuse you. We're going to be doing some more work on adverbs in the future because adverbs, personally, I believe it, and most of my students believe that it's the most difficult part of speech to understand because it's all over the place. It doesn't just stay in one place. Again, if you like what you see, give me a big thumbs up. Hit that bell notification. And please subscribe and help me, to know that what I'm doing here is actually making a difference in your life. And I welcome any comments that you have to have, whether they're positive or negative. Remember, we're not all perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. So if you feel that I made a mistake in something, you could tell me, and I would be glad to correct that mistake. Or if you just have an idea, just let me know. With that, I'll be signing off. I thank you, and I hope to see you again soon.